Kembo na tata nzambi ya manzulu kinfumu kia kuyisa. All praises to the Most High. Greetings to the Bene Kongo, Bene Yiseka'yah. Welcome to another broadcast. I am Kefas. How you all doing today? Make sure to invite some brothers and sisters to join us as we will start. We are about to start our broadcast. So invite some people, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. All right. Okay. So, how's everyone doing? Let's wait for I think a minute before we start. Let people join us. In this live broadcast, I'm gonna talk about, the Bene Kushi, Bene Yiseka'yah. We're gonna look into, some interesting things. We're gonna also do some video reviews. And I hope you will learn something today. Yes. All right. For those who are interested, I am planning a trip to Angola. Yes, that will be coming October. That is October 21 or 21st up to October 31st. Okay, so it's a 10-day trip. I'm inviting you all to join me. It will be an amazing time. So come with me to Angola. I also have an organization which I started to support the diaspora so that we can do great things together on the motherland, in our case, in Angola. The organization is called Angola Investment Group, dedicated to assist the diaspora, and others who are interested in investing in Angola. But especially aimed to assist and help the diaspora, and we want to work together, right? Put our economics together, combine, so that we can practice collective, investment. And we are working with a project. It is called how do you say that in English? Community estate for the diaspora. Yes, we're building a community for the diaspora in Angola. Yes, we still have a lot of plots available. So if you're interested in being part of what we're doing, building a diaspora community in Angola, we still have plots available. Yes, so come and join me. If you want to receive more information, email me at angolainvestmentgroup@gmail.com, and I can share all the information and answer all your questions. Yes, so let's prepare ourselves, because we know that the West, America, will fall. We know that the dollar, will decrease, and life will become very hard in America. And as America go, the West also follows. So the West will decline and Africa will rise. But this is the moment to prepare yourself, and to put some things in place, in order. So join me to the trip. You can also join me if you're interested in our community building project in Angola. And you can email me at angolainvestmentgroup@gmail.com. If you have questions about my classes, you can email me at apostolandu@gmail.com. Let me put it in the chat for you all. Yes, so Angola. Okay, let's start, man. Let's start. How you all doing, by the way? Before I start, how you all doing? Make your presence known in the chat and put a one in the chat if you are excited for today's live broadcast. Okay? So make your presence known in the chat and we can start. Ingeta, Kembu na Tatanzambi ya Manzulu. Kinfumu kya kuyisa, may his kingdom come and his will be done. Yiseka'yah Kongo. Blessed is he who comes in the name of Kongo. Kembo. Ingeta. Let's start with a video. Okay. Let's start with a video. Okay. We will start with a video. It's in Lingala, but I will translate. Okay. I will tell you what he's saying. Yeah, so this video is from an elder of the Kimbangist church in Congo. All right, the Kimbangist people, our brothers and sisters, they have some interesting knowledge and information. And this brother, the video is long, but I will not go through it all, but just a portion of it. And I will do translation because he's speaking Lingala. And Lingala, like Kikongo, Kiswahili, Kikuyu, Zulu, Shona. Our Bantu languages, Lingala being the mother tongue, okay, and followed with Kiswahili, we have proven, and also Pastor Mello has written a beautiful book proving that the Kikongo is the Paleo Hebrew. Yes? And we have also done many studies, and we use the comparative method, right, to show you that the Paleo Hebrew is Kikongo. And we have also done videos showing you the caves in Congo and Angola where people, archaeologists, have found Paleo Hebrew inscriptions. Okay, yeah, maybe I will do another video showing you exactly what I'm talking about. So we know that the Paleo Hebrew is the Bantu languages, Kibantu. Yes, Kikongo is the Paleo Hebrew. And we will continue to teach, we will continue to, showcase and to show proof. All right. So let's go. Let's start with this video and then we will go deeper. Ingeta. Let me know if the sound is too low, okay? Because I don't know if the sound will be right for you all.
Pas témoin. Et toza banzete mibale ezana jardin de thé, précisément na Kamba. Donc na mbanza semo esika ba sema donc ko créer muto esika ba salamu na mbanza semo. Mbanza semo donc sina.
Okay, he said that there are two trees in what they call the Garden of Eden. One of those trees, or the location, is called Sina. In Banzansemo. Banzansemo means the place of creation. Yes, Banzansemo is the place of creation. And he also said that Sina, what in the Bible you read as Sinai, Sina, means the source in Kikongo. Yes, in Kikongo it means the source or the root or origin where you are coming from. So Nsemi Yeah, Nsemi, which is also a name for God as the creator. Yes, Nsemi means to create. To create.
Sina ezali source esika mutu awuti.
And Sina, as he says, is the place where man was coming from, or the man who was created came from. Yes, according to our elder here from the Kimbangist.
Donc neti nzete bimi esika nzete bimela kawana koke sala nzete donc babenga kango Sina.
Okay, he said that Sina is also a root. When you have a plant, when the plant is coming out, right? It's coming out from the ground. That's also called Sina. Yeah, so Sina denotes source, root, and origin.
Na 70 generation wana jour tokosimba Bible okoya komona baverse nyonso tu wana na makambo ya mbanza Kongo na 12 source eza nango na kati ya Bible me bashanja kombo neti baplace mosusu na mbanza Kongo soki omoni na Bible place bazobenga Betelehemi ya Bayuda ezali mbanza Kongo.
Yeah, he said, the day will come that we will realize that everything that is written in the Bible is actually talking about we ourselves. Yeah? And that the Bethlehem which they mention in the Bible, the Bethlehem of the Bayuda, is actually Mbanza Kongo.
Bazobenga lisusu Elime. Donge ezali Mbanza Kongo.
Yes, and Elime. I don't know what it is, Elime. What is that? No, I don't recognize Elime. But also that is Mbanza Kongo. Yeah? So he's saying that Bethlehem, Jerusalem. Now he said Bethlehem in the Bible of the Judah is Mbanza Kongo. And Mbanza Kongo, for those who don't know, Mbanza Kongo was the ancient capital of the Kingdom of Congo. Yes, in the northern of Angola today.
Sinai ezali nkamba, donc source. Donc bashika nyonso yoki ke omosa kenda ko sambela na Sinai, o Jesus Christ kenda ko sa azala ko yana montagne nkamba.
And he said that Sinai, which is Sina, is the mount of Kamba. Kamba is, I think, in the central south of Congo DRC, right? I think Kamba is somewhere there. Now there's a mountain there. This is, according to the Kimbangist, is a very holy mountain. And he said, this elder of the Kimbangist, yeah, from Congo DRC, he's saying here that the people we read in the Bible, like Moses and Jesus, when they went to pray on the mountain, they actually went to the mountain called Kamba in Congo DRC.
Etape wane kuyaki ezo zongi sa royaume Congo ki mukonji abamindele ekoshila ba politiciens bakozala lisusu te. Okay.
Yeah, and he said the day is coming that the power or the governments of the Mundele, right? You know Mundele, Bamindele, that their power of the Muzungus will come to an end. Yes, and there will be no more politicians, and that the power of governments will return to the Congo people.
Donc ba ministre bakozala lisusu te ndenge oyo nazoloba vouloir pas mutu akolongola ngote pas plus pas moins. Donc pouvoir na biso na royaume Congo ezongi parce que nzete wana ya bele eza elembo bakoko batikela biso totalela ka bashine de temps.
Okay, and there is this and okay, there are some things that if I translate everything word by word, I don't believe many of you will really understand what he's talking about, okay? But there was a prophet, right, in the Bible. And this prophet had a habit to sit under a, what was it, a palm tree, or I'm talking about prophet Samuel. Samueli. Samueli. I'm talking about prophet Samuel. The Bible tells us that he had a habit to sit under a certain tree, right? And when he will judge the people of Israel, he will also sit under the tree and judge the people. Now, in Banza Congo, there is this tree, right? This very ancient tree. The king of Congo used to sit with his ministers under the tree and discuss the things of the kingdom. He also used to sit under that tree to judge the people, right? And there is something very mysterious about the tree, because the spiritual leaders, they had the ability to look at the tree and to discern the times, the things that was coming. Yeah? Very, very interesting, and that's what he just said. Now he said the Most High Nzambe, he was not happy with us, how we were sinning and breaking the laws and doing all kinds of unrighteousness. And so the Most High created a third race, a different race. But in the beginning, the Bible tells us that Noah had 3 sons. And from those 3 children which Noah had, the first son, the first son was called Kami. Kami is what they translated in the Bible as Cham in Yiddish, right? Cham. But in Kikongo is Kami. Interesting, because when you go and you studied the culture of Asia, let's say in this case Japan, the word for God in Japan is Kami-sama. So Kami goes back to Ham, because in ancient time the gods, and divinity was always considered black, Kushi, Kami. So in Japan you still have the name of God, which is pronounced Kami-sama. Kami in Kikongo means what? Ham, or Ham, or Kam. Kami. Interesting, eh?
Kami azali tata ya batu mwindu nyonso na mokili. Oya tangami mutu mwindu. Azana posoneti ya papa Jerikota. Azali libota ya Kami.
So he said Kami is the father of all the black people. Okay. And he is the one, the progenitor of all the black people in the world.
Libota wana ya Kami yango eyeko bota ba Moise, ba Jacobe, ba Josue, ba Jésus Christ, ba Ave Marie.
Elder. No, he said that this race of Kami, right? This race of the children of Ham, the children of Kam, he is the one who gave birth to people like Moses, Joseph, Jesus, Mary, all those biblical figures. They are children of Kami, according to the elder.
Tena papa Simon yaliputa, papa Simon, papa diangenda, atina yonanga.
Okay, so he said, and we are also children of all those people, of Moses, Joseph, Jesus, things like that. So we are their children also. Interesting. Okay, so as you can see, the video is long, right? It's 37 minutes. I can share a lot more. Then I just have to dedicate myself on commenting on what this elder of the Kimbangist community in Congo is teaching, and explaining. So if you all want me to do a complete video just commenting and translating the whole message he shared, let me know in the chat, okay? And I will do it. But for now, we are moving forward to another one. This is also a brother from DRC, Congo. This video is an hour and a half. We will just look into a section, a small piece of it, and to get his understanding. This brother is called Jospin Loango. He's a historian, he's a doctor in history. He's also a artisan and also a musician, if I'm correct. So the work that you see in the background, it's part of his work as an artist. So he's a historian, a doctor, a young man, around 40, something like that. I like him, I've been following for a while, listening to what he's saying, and yes, he makes sense. So let's listen to him. Are you enjoying this, by the way, brothers and sisters? I know many of you don't speak Lingala, you don't speak the Paleo-Hebrew, because the Kibantu is the original Paleo-Hebrew, not the Yiddish. Okay? So you all need to learn Lingala, Kikongo, Kiswahili, Shona. I am actually preparing a course learning Lingala. So if you're interested, please join me on Patreon. Okay, join me on Patreon if you want to learn the Paleo-Hebrew Lingala. Ingeta.
Na Congo, tolobeli carte d'Afrique renversée. Biso lelo, ti lelo, journal lelo bano batangi na université, batangi ke carte d'Afrique eza na forme wana. Batangi superficie ya Congo, superficie Afrique ndenge o wana bapesi. Nzoka Congo eza lokola continent et puis Afrique ezo mela tous les continents du monde.
So he said in school children are learning the map as we have it, right? The geographic map, not in the right way, because the true direction must be upside down. Yes, the north, Egypt, for example, must be down, and South Africa must be up. That's the way the map is supposed to be. And Africa itself is the biggest continent on the planet.
Et puis quand l'Afrique ezali na forme ya mutu na se, donc Sud Afrique na sud ezali kolo.
Yes, these are saying that South Africa must be up, yeah, and not down. So the map is upside down.
C'est-à-dire ils sont tout bon fleuve Nil ezongi ndenge ezali. Alors cartographie wana soki to chango toute une histoire eza kobwaka.
So he says when we return the map, right? When we turn the map in its right order, you can forget all the history because everything is wrong. Yes, everything's wrong. All the locations are wrong, right? The directions are wrong. That's what he said.
Eza ko réécrire. Na participer na 255
Même si Biblia est quoi, hein?
te Biblia ezali oui mais papa kimbango lobaka yango.
So the interviewer asked him, must we remove the Bible? Yes, and he will answer right now.
C'est pas moi. Tant obi tu bokangi muibi lelo kwa yibaki. Qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire? Il faut se botia solo parce que
So he said, Papa Kimbangu said that we must catch the thief with the object which you stole. So when you catch the thief with the object which you stole, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to bring the truth. Yeah? For Tochabu Solo, we must put the truth in front. So the interviewer asked him, so where is that truth? Where is the truth? He said, I'm trying to answer you. Just listen. Biblia, the Bible, is written by the Mundele. You know Mundele, right? The Munzungu. Biblia is written by the Mundele. He starts his explanation. So they have translated it. So to write is not like they just invented something. No, they took the original papyrus. So those people took the original papyrus which we brought down when we came from Kama, from Egypt, right, with all the different tribes, and they took it. It's a papyrus written in the symbols of the hieroglyphs. Yes, not only writing, but also mathematics. What did he say? Architecture, and all those things came from us. And these people took all those documents and they created a history according to themselves. Yes, in accordance with themselves, to deviate from everything and to write their own history, like everything came from them. That's why Abraham is white, right, in the stories. The map is upside down to deceive you from all the original locations and things like that.
Selon l'original. Alors avant on dit ça original, il faut ça une copie à mabe. Effectivement, la Bible est dans le kuta na kati.
So the Bible has some lukuta, some things which are not true in it. Yes, and to really detect the things which are false, someone must have the original. Yes, you must have the original. Yes, and he's saying, according to himself as an archaeologist, he says that the Bible contains like 98% of lies. Yeah, that's, I found that to be very high number. But anyway, I'm just doing the translation. But he believes that the Bible contains 98% of falsity, of error or lies. I don't think that's necessarily the case, but what I've always said, the Bible is not 100% the true, undefiled, holy, Word of God. But it contains the words of our prophets, our sages, our wise men, things like that. But for those who are still, believing that the Bible is the 100% holy, truthful word of God, you are mistaken, But anyway, you're free to believe, because many people in the world, in the religious sphere, they do not operate with facts. They do not operate with logic. They operate in faith. Yes? Faith allows you to believe things which are not necessarily true. And so many people operate, even in this awakening, Bantu Israelite, Hebrew Israelite, many people are operating in the realms of what? Faith, religious, not in fact, not in logic, not according to our ancient knowledge, because the Kongo, which is our original spirituality, is a spirituality of science. Yes, it's a science-based spirituality. It's nothing to do with just have faith, just believe. No.
98.
Mais
non, j'ai pas dit ça.
C'est bon.
Also, must we stop reading the Bible? No, that's not what I'm saying.
Voilà pourquoi Bobby qui au moins ba message mais ceux qui n'a développé tout qui batu boye net maman moi tourner la confiance Bobby c'est que kilongo est comme sous en Égypte non. What?
Yeah, okay. Let me see if I can
Culture qui n'a misé papa c'est moi ça pour en foutre mélango. Tu vois des contextes là. Il faut qu'on éclaircir question moi nazalaka moi pédagogique pour limbo la pour kanga parenthèse pour ba comprendre. Donc ça dit Bible n'a pas papyrus na hermétique na ba hiéroglyphe et consort.
So the Bible in the hieroglyphs, in the hermetics,
Avant Bible, avant l'homme occident bima si na tiango ba kozo ba référence intine na zonga.
Those were books or scrolls that we possess, that we created.
Papyrus, papier,
The papyrus, it's something that we invented.
Stylo, encre, momie, kwambome, courant électrique. Nakati sika boye nini eko koma pona confuser zala. Bazui Afrique d'abord, batiango. Bazui fleuve nul, babengo na ndenge na bango.
Yeah. So basically saying the confusion came when the Europeans, the Mundele, took all the scrolls and they started to create their own history and they changed the map, they changed the locations and things like that. Okay? Very interesting. All right, Bene Kongo. How are you all doing today? For those who just joined us, don't forget to like and subscribe. Invite some people to join us. I'm also going to Angola this coming October. 21st of October until 31st. So 10 days trip. You can join me if you're interested. I'm also building a diaspora community in Angola. So if you want to join me in that project, please email me. All right, it's great to have property in our own space on the motherland, and I believe that we are living in a time of preparation. The West will not remain as it is. No way. We have prophecies that the West will fall. As some say, Babylon will fall. So it will fall. We're seeing a lot of things going on already in the West. A lot of things are happening. Are you prepared? Are you prepared? When things go to hell, are you prepared? Do you have a way out? Do you have an exit plan? If not, connect with me. I have an exit plan. We're building a diaspora community. We're establishing businesses in Angola. We are buying agricultural land in Angola so that we can be self-sufficient and help build the Angola of the future. Yeah, so join me. You can email me at angolainvestmentgroup@gmail.com. Kembo Ingeta. Yeah, so the video once again is long. And I was not also translating everything word by word literally because sometimes he was just making some remarks. All right. So this young brother, his name is Yospin Lowango from Congo, DRC. Very brightful young man. He's an archaeologist, historian, and a artisan. Now, the title of this live broadcast is Bene Kushi Bene Yiseka'yah. Okay, that's our title of this video. So if you're watching this and you have seen the title, you must be wondering, where is Nabi Kefas going? You are at a good place today. So, brothers and sisters, I don't like the fact that up till today, people many of us are still hating on Africa. Yes, I don't like it. Man, how can you be a Mohindu, yes, a Bantu, and you are hating on Africa? Who taught you to hate Africa? Who taught you to hate Africa? Isn't it the Mundele Kadian Pemba who taught you to hate Africa, to despise Africa, to stay away from Africa? Yes, even to call them monkeys. You're calling your own brothers and sisters monkeys on the continent. It needs to change. It needs to change. Because when the elder, yes, when the brother says Israelites are Africans, huh? Your spin. When the elder, where is this video? When the elder from the Kimbangi said that the firstborn who created, who gave birth, right, to people like Moses, Joseph, Aaron, the priest, Jesus, they all came from Kushi, from Kami. They were all black Negroes, Africans. Is he committing a sin? Right? Is he committing a sin? For some of you to say, hey, you African, stay with your voodoo, not all Bantu are Israelites, and etc., etc. We know that not all people who live on the African continent are Israelites. We know, because there are so many ethnic groups in Africa, but all Bantus come from the same source, Sina, from the same source, from the same root. The Bantu people are one people. So you can never say some Bantu are Israelite and other Bantus are not. If Bantu is Israelite, all Bantu are Israelites, right? And we know that the Bantu people are the source. Because if you are in Jamaica, if you are in Bahamas, in Trinidad, in Curacao, Suriname, America, Brazil, Bolivia, as Afro person, most of you were taken from the regions of the kingdom of Congo. That is to say Angola, Benguela, Kongo, Mbanza Congo, right? Cabinda, all those regions, Saint Tome, all those regions, Mozambique, you are Congo, Ozamu Congo. So there's no reason to hate on Africa. Israelites have always been on the African continent, as the Bible calls it, the land of Ham or Ham in Yiddish. Yeah, almost suffocating. What we call Kami or Kama, the land of Kama. And Kami was the person in the Bible who's called Ham. Okay, let's start here for a moment. Abraham, we are told, we have different forms of the word Kush, which all has the same root, which means Negro. So we have Kush, we have Kushi, yes, Kush, Kushi, Kushit, Kushan, and Kish. All of them have the same root, which is Kush, which means what? Black. Black person. Yes, black person, Kushi, Kush. So I am Kushi. Israelites are Kushi, or Kushiyim, as they say in Hebrew, plural. We Bantu people are Kushiyim, and the Israelites are Kushiyim. We are black Kushite people. That's not, and people hate this, right? Some people hate when I say this. They become very mad, like, no, we are not Kushites, we are not Africans. Hey, come on, why are you hating on Africa? I'm an African. I live on the continent of Africa. Yes, I was born on the continent of Africa. My parents have lived the whole life on the continent of Africa. My grandfathers, my grandfathers, right? Even Abraham came from the land of Kush, Africans. So the Israelites have always lived on the land of Ham, Kama, which today is called Africa. So I'm an African because I've always lived there. I come from that land. And because I come from that land, I can call myself African. So it's nothing wrong being African. It's not a curse. Yes? It's not an abomination. It's not a disease. And I'm not ashamed. Abraham was born in Ur of the Chaldees, which was part of the region founded by Nimrod, the son of Kush, Kushi, in Kongo. Ancient Mesopotamia population was of African or Afro-Asiatic. These Africans had migrated from the Nile Valley to the west. After the death of Sarah, Abana took another wife, whose name was Keturah, and she bore him Zimran, Yakshon, Medan, and Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. The Midianites are descendants from Abana and thus related to the ancient Israelites. We are then told in Habakkuk 3:7, I saw the tents of Cushan in distress, the dwellings of Midian, yes, in anguish. Cushan is the same as Kush, which also means black, as we have seen. Yes, Cushan. Midianites, descendants of Abana, are called Cushan. Massa married Zipporah, the daughter of the Midianite priest Jethro. In Numbers 12, verse 1, she is called a Cushite, or in King James, Ethiopian. The Hebrew term used is HaKushite, which means the Cushite, feminine gender. From this, it can be deduced that the Midianite descendants of Abana were referred to as Cushites, meaning black people. And the rabbis today refer Cushite or Kushi to refer to Africans. Yes? Bana Afrika. Bana al-Kubalan. Now, dit is a map of 1690 before the Berlin Kongo Conference in Germany of 1884 and to 1885, where the nations, according to Joel 3, parted the kingdom of Kongo Kachopa. They parted the kingdom of Kongo Kachopa. The so-called State of Israel, Palestine, was never parted by the European nations. Yes, it was never parted by the nations. But they came together. The nations came together. The Caucasoid nations. They came together by Mundele in 1884 to do what? To part Africa according to the prophecy. Yes, they parted Africa, not Palestine. Africa. As you can see here, clearly it says Ethiopia. Okay, Ethiopia. And we see the elephants. Of Africa. Yes, it's a different map. Same thing. You see Ethiopia in the center of Africa. Center Kati Kati, which also means the center. The middle, the navel, Kati Kati in Kongo, Katiopa, Ethiopia, which is Katiopa, Kongo Katiopa, which is translated as Kush in the Bible, right? Kush. So we had Upper Katiopa and Lower Katiopa. Yeah, Upper Kush and Lower Kush, which they often translate as Ethiopia in the Greek term. But it's Kush. Like Kongo, Kuzi. Kuzi. Okay. Now. Let's watch this.
Ça veut dire que Kushi signifie Yesh Hashem, il y a Dieu. Ça veut dire que dans l'africain se trouve Dieu. C'est absolument incroyable. Dans les peuples africains se trouve le Dieu authentique qui a pour nom Yudke Vavke. Incroyable. Ça veut dire que caché à l'intérieur des peuples africains se trouve le véritable Dieu. Et c'est pour ça que en hébreu on appelle le noir Kushi, qui fait allusion à Yesh Havayé. Dieu se trouve à l'intérieur des peuples africains. Incroyable. Incroyable. On va aller plus loin. Là, vous vous tenez bien, vous attachez vos ceintures pour pas tomber. Le mot Mashiach. Mashiach en hébreu, c'est le Messie. Le mot Mashiach, quand on tourne les lettres sans les changer, les deux premières lettres, c'est même Shin, qui veut dire Shem. Shem, c'est l'identité. Quelle est l'identité du Mashiach? Les deux premières lettres du mot Mashiach signifient l'identité. Et après, on a un Yud et un Chet, qui sont les deux premières lettres de Israël et Cham. Israël, Yud, Cham, l'origine des peuples africains, comme on va le voir dans quelques instants. Ça veut dire que le Mashiach porte l'identité du peuple d'Israël et des peuples africains.
Okay. Oh, wait.
לא רק כושים מברכים, אלא צריך שיהיה כושי שאבא שלו ואימא שלו לבנים. איפה אתה תדע? אם אתה יודע, גופה שאתה יודע, ואז יצא להם בן קוף, יצא להם בן ככה.
Yeah. So you see our brothers and sisters going to Israel to seek refuge, you know, but what does Israel do? They put them in prison cells. There's no refuge in Israel. You cannot go there, you know, and hope for them to treat you well. You'll be put in a prison cell and deported. You have seen, you know, two rabbis. The one explains to us that in the word Kushi, yes, this one, I don't know his name, but he explains to us that in the name Kushi we find God, the Messiah, and his people. Okay? And then we have a different rabbi who was the head of the Sanhedrin, I think, who called Africans monkey. Yes? He calls Africans a monkey. Yeah, so Israel, the Jews are also divided. Some of them know that we the people, right? Some of them know, hey, they're the people. Those Kushites, those African, they're the people. Some of them know. And some hate you with a passionate hate. Yes. And they will die hating you. They will never change. It will just remain like that. They will do everything they can to eliminate you. That's just the truth. So you have no business going to Israel in search for asylum. They don't love you. Yeah. Now this is a summary what the rabbi said. So he explains Kushi means Yesh Hashem. God exists, which means God is to be found in Africa, in Kush. Within African people is the genuine God. This is the reason why in Hebrew black people are called Kushi. It's a summary what he said. The word Mashiach in Hebrew, when you refer the letters without changing them, the first letters are Shin and Mem, which means Shem. The first two letters of Mashiach reveal the identity. The last two letters are Yud and He, which are the first letters to spell Israel. Yud and Ham. He. This means that the true Messiah and his people are Kushi. So the true identity of the Messiah and God is Kushi. So he says Kushi reveals the identity of God, of the Messiah, and his people, according to the rabbi in Goethe. We're gonna have a look at another video, another rabbi. Okay, but before we go there, let's do a little reading. Now we find the Old Testament filled with Egyptian words in the Semitic form, and we know that the Jews grew from a race of only 70 souls to over 3 million of people in Egypt. The blending with the Egyptian people is part of history's record. The Hebrew alphabet was of itself of Egyptian origin. The language, custom, and education were of Egyptian origin. The ancient Hebrew language, custom, and education has its origin in Kama, which is Egypt. The Israelites are the children of Kama. When Israel was a child, then I loved him and called my son out of Egypt. Israel was a child. In the Hebrew, Nara. The biblical Hebrew is the word Nara. Ra refers to the son. Okay? Ra or Rao in Bantu refers to the son. Na is child. Okay? Na is child. So when you put them together, what do you have? A child of light. Right? In Lingala and Kongo, we also have the Naana, which is a little one. So for a little one, a child, we say Muana. Yes, Muana, a little child. Interesting, eh? Interesting. So it is undeniable truth that the Israelites originally came out of Kemet. Herodotus states that the Israelites were of Egyptian race. That is to say, Cushitic, right? Egyptian, Ethiopian is the Greek equivalent of the Paleo-Hebrew Kush or Kuzi in Kongo. And the Ethiopians, as the Egyptians, were considered the same by the Greeks. The Greek word Ethiopia is the equivalent of the Hebrew Kush. In the Kikongo language, it is Kuzi, which also means black. Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians? Yes, which is Kush. Unto me, O children of Israel, said the Lord, Kongo, have not I brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt? It is Amos 9:7. A alternative rendition of the scripture can be, are you not Bene, yes, as my sons of the Cushites, Ethiopians, Cushites, unto me, Bene Isolele. Let me read that again. Maybe you ask, where do you get that Kibene from, Nabi? I will show you. Okay. Are you not Kibeni? Yes, as my sons of the Kushites to me, Bene Yisolele. So there seems to be an ancestral connection with Kemet, the Israelites and Kemet, Kama. Now let's go to Amos 9:7. Amos 9:7. Yes, right here. Let's open it up. Kibeni. Kibeni is Bantu, of the sons of come on. Okay. Are not as children. As you can see, Kibene, Kibne. Kibne is the Bantu Kibeni. Okay. Kibne here is the Bantu Kibene. As children. Kibene. Do you see it? Yeah. Kibene. It's right there. Bene Yiseka'yah or Bene Yisolele. Yes, so we have the children being as Kibene Kushi, Kibene Kuzi, and Bene Yiseka'yah. And the Most High is saying, we are unto him as Kibene, his children of the Cushite. It's important to understand this, and not just hate. Not just hate. Okay, I will not go through all of this. Maybe another time. Wait. Let's go through some of it. Okay. So there is definitive proof of Bantu and the term Bantu present in Egypt, as you can see in the hieroglyphs. Yes, the set of hieroglyph above outlines an indelible imprint in stone of the existence of the Bantu people during ancient times in Egypt and Nubia. The complete set of hieroglyphs spells out the word Batu. The word Batu or Bantu means people. And other variations are Ato, Vatu, Atu, Banu or Banhu, etc. Israel. Jacob also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham, which is Kama. Yeah, so our ancestors always lived in the land of Kam. Jacob, and his sons, biblical characters, that always lived in the land of Kam. And as we know today, those biblical characters are actually the Bantu people. Yes, the Bantu people. And what do we see? We see a clear similarities between the Egyptian, which is Kikami, yes, and the Bantu, Kibantu, and the biblical Hebrew. We see a clear similarity when we do comparison of words. When we use a comparative method, we can come to a conclusion that yes, the ancient Kikami, ancient Egyptian, and Kibantu and biblical Hebrew, they are actually all the same. Okay, it's a Bantu language or a Proto-Bantu ancestral tongue. And we have some words which we can study to showcase what we're saying. For example, Kam in Egyptian, in Kikami, Kam means to be hot or to burn. In Kibantu, in the dialect of Kongo, it's Kama, which also means hot or catch fire or burn. Swahili kama means resemblance or likeness. And then we have the biblical Hebrew cham. The CH can also be pronounced as a K. So you can, instead of cham, you can say kam or kama. See here? Kama from Strong's H2552. Kama. It's the same as the Kikongo kama and the Egyptian kam. It's the same. So we also see baraka here, which means to bow the knee in homage. Baraka in Swahili, a gift, a blessing, a favor from God. And in the biblical Hebrew, barak, to kneel, by implication, to bless God, etc., etc., etc. Okay? The list go on, you know. Heka in Egyptian, Heka, incantation, enchantment, which is in Swahili Hekalu. Hekalu, which means temple, sanctuary. And we have the biblical Hebrew Hekal for palace, temple, and sanctuary. Strong's H1964. Hekalu. Have I lost you, Benanzambe? Have I lost you? Because people will being mad. No, Nabi. No, it's not true. When Israel was a child, where? In Egypt. He became a grown man. Where? In Egypt. Where did he have his education? In Egypt. Where did he learn everything you know? All the science, philosophy. Where did he learn it? In Egypt. Kama. Where did they grow as a multitude? In Kama, in Egypt. Yes, and according to our ancestors, the story goes that we left eventually. Yes, some things happened there, and the Bible tells you that the Israelites were enslaved. Many people don't believe that. The stories, you know, and the story is different, but the Bible says we were enslaved. Others says we were not enslaved. We were ruling in Egypt. According to Nemwanansemi, the late Nemwanansemi, great leader in Congo. He passed this year, beginning this year. But according to him, our ancestors were in Kama in Egypt. And when spiritual confusions enter into Egypt, you know, caused by foreign people, foreign nations who were conquering Egypt, coming in and disturbing the order, things like that, spiritual confusions came in, and our ancestors departed from Kama. So it's a different story than what you read in Scripture. Now, because you live or die by Scripture, you will rather go directly 100% with what is written in Scripture and just disregard the traditions and oral traditions of your ancestors from the Congo, right? That's how we do it, right? Just disregard it, throw it in the garbage can, don't pay any attention to it. As we can see, Hekal. In the biblical Hebrew, it's a palace, temple, a sanctuary. Yes, a temple, palace, temple of God as king. But the Hekal was also the temple of kings. Yes, or a palace of kings. So the Hekal can be a temple of a deity, of God. It can also be a temple or a palace of a king. And get that. Okay. So Anna rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, Kongo, Chilo, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon a seat by the post of the temple, Hekal. Yes, which is what? Hekalu. Hekalu. Yeah. Okay, let's listen to this rabbi. What is his name? Rabbi Yitzhak Shapira. Let's listen to him, what he has to say about the Kushi, and Bene, what he has to say about the Bene Kushi, the Bene Yisolele. Are you ready? Yes, you ready? Let's listen.
There in the Kush tribe brought Israel up from the land of Egypt, but also the Philistines from Kaftor and the Armenians from Kir. Okay?
Oh, let me go back a little bit. Little bit.
Declares the Lord. Why? Because Israel is daring, are like the Kushi.
Yes.
The Holy Tongue, it says Kushi. Atem Bnei Israel. You are like the Kushi, declares the Lord. Why? Because Israel is daring. The Kush tribe brought Israel up from the land of Egypt, but also the Philistines from Kaftor and the Armenians from Kir. Okay? Israel, number one, make yourself the note. Israel has a name. And one of the names that Israel is called by is Kushim. Kushim is a generic name for anybody who is black. Now, I want to be careful here. I am not saying that every black person is from the seed of Israel. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying that, as we're going to see in 1 minute, it is this specific group of the house of Israel who is scattered in Africa that is called Kushi. That's speaking about, specifically here, about a subset from the house of Israel. Now check this out, what the prophet's saying. It says in Moed Katan, this is in the Talmud, recorded in the Talmud. Similarly, you can explain the verse as you not so much as mine, as the children of the Kushite, children of Israel. Is their name Kushite? No. Their name is not Kushite. Israel is their name. Rather, just as the Kushites said, because of the dark skin, so too the Jewish people are distinguished by their action, and they are different from all other nations. Friend, we have today groups in Africa like the Ibu, like the Lambas. They are completely distinguished from the other groups in their customs, in their tradition. And here the Talmud itself recorded, it says at times they're going to look at Kushites like regular Africans, but they are really Israelites. They are part of the seed of the house of Israel. We have a movement today that is a very dangerous movement. They call the Black Israelites. They're anti-Semitic. They hate the Jewish people. But you see, this is what a Satan wants to do. He wants to take a little grain of truth and he wants to twist it, pervert it, and manipulate it. In reality, the prophets of Israel explain to us that it is this exact seed of Zera Israel, of the seed of Israel that found in Africa. Not only that is a Jewish seed, it is the seed that is needed to bring Israel to salvation. The entire salvation, because Yeshua said that the last will be first and the first will be last. Guess what? The prophets of Israel have agreed
It is those who are the least among our people, who are not even counted as our people today. They will be the one who will bring Israel to salvation. You ask Rabbi Shapiro,
wait a minute. So what did he say? He said the Kushite, Bene Kushi, Bene Isolele, they are the ones who will bring Israel to salvation. Really? And with Israel, he means, you know, themselves, the Kadiampemba Mundele, so-called Ishi people. Yes, yeah, that's not the case. Of course, we know, eh? The synagogue, there's no salvation for the synagogue of Satan. There's only judgment.
Because my Bible tell me so. In Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 10 on, we read about the nations coming to their fullness. And as they come to their fullness, we see how this fullness is going to take place in part of the salvation of all of Israel. Now we read a very interesting passage. Let's read this together, and it says, from beyond the river of Kush, which means what? To the south of the river of Kush. What is the south of Kush? Zimbabwe is the south of Kush. Friend, it is the Lamba people and our people who are south of Kush, from beyond the river of Kush. What it says, my suppliants shall bring offering to me in fair posai. Now, I want you to understand, because there is a mystery here. There are two nations that are being mentioned. Now, we don't know today what are those nations. One name in the Hebrew is the name Atari, and the other name Bat means the daughter, Potsi. What the word Potsi mean? It's come from the word futsot, my daughter who has been scattered. Friends, it says that there will be a daughter of Israel who is going to be scattered, and they will be one. And look at the word, next word. They will, it doesn't say they will bring offering. The word is Yovelun. That's where we get the word Yovel. Jubilee. That is talking about what this group is going to be doing. They are going to lead the house of Israel to the Jubilee. 50. Jubilee is the number 50 for the coming of the Messiah. What they're going to do, they're going to bring the mincha. The mincha is a special gift. The rabbi asked the question, what is the gift? What is the great gift that they are going to bring that is going to lead to the south of salvation of Israel? Here's what we know. They're south of Ethiopia, two nations, but it's not nations, it is a region. It's a prophecy, friends, of all of Africa. The sons or the daughters who have been scattered. I have a chance, friends, to go to the wilderness in Zimbabwe and could go to Nigeria. They are scattered. And they...
Yeah, dit is Rabbi Shapira, Yitzhak Shapira. So he's very passionate, right, about what he's sharing. Not realizing that he's part of the synagogue of Satan, Satana, or Satani. He's actually in Kadiampemba, right? But the things that he said, you know, the majority of them are true. Yeah, it's true. We are scattered. He referred to the Igbo, he referred to the Lamba Jews, because those seems to be the only Jews they recognize in Africa. They don't want to recognize the rest. Otherwise, they will lose. Because almost 99% of South Sahara Africa is Bantu, right? Israelites are the children of Tatanzambia Manzulu. They know. So, where is it? Okay. So he said that the Israelites are dispersed beyond the rivers of Kush, right? Kush, of course, is Kongo Kachopa, and we had Upper Kush and Lower Kush, and the center is Kongo Kachopa, is Congo, right? The navel, Katikati, which means the center, the middle, the navel, which is Congo. Now he mentions Zambia. Zambia is of course part of Congo, because when we descended from Kama, we followed the Nile, we passed Nubia, right, and we entered Central Africa, and we came to a place which our ancestors called Dizimba, which translates to sanctuary. Dizimba today is Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe. So we built our first kingdom over there, or sanctuary over there, after we departed from Kama. That's according to oral tradition of the Kongo people, which is similar with many other Bantu people, like people from Uganda and the Zulu, the Shona people. We descended from Kama. We followed the Nile. We passed Nubia. We entered into Central Africa. We created what they call in Kikongo, Congo di Antuku, the original Congo. And from that Congo, when we lost a sacred object, Mbele Sengele, it's a sacred object, and we scattered from that place, yes, from Zambia, from Zimba, Dizimba, the sanctuary. We scattered to the west and south, yes, to the west and south. Some of our ancestors said that we entered into the south, and as we were going and making stops, some of our tribal men were stopping there. They will just park there and start a living over there. So we went and we entered into what's called today South Africa, ancient Monomotapa, and we went up. We passed the Sahari, the Kalahari Desert. We entered into Namibia, Angola, Congo, and we established the last kingdom, which was known as Congo Dian Totila. Yes, that's the history. That's the history. Ingeta. And so we talked about Bene Kushi, Bene Isolele. Let's have a look here, because he said something, Hebrew, Yiddish word, jubilee, right? Praise. So let's look into Zephaniah 3:10. If we can dig into that a little more. From beyond the river. I've done a breakdown actually of Zephaniah 3 verse 10. It's on YouTube, so you can go and watch that breakdown. Very powerful. Very, very powerful. Yes. Kush. What word? Oh, here. Yes, he used this word, right? Shall bring. Jubilun. This word jubilun from Yabal. From the root Yabal. He mentioned that word. That's why I'm going there. Pusa in Kikongo means to push away. Pusa. Pusana When we say pusana, pusana awa, pusana, this means to come closer, move yourself close. Or pusana, go away, or, go over there. So pusa means to drive out or to draw near. Pusana or pusa. Pusa, translated as to disperse. Yo, people, are you still here? Are you still with me? Bena Kongo, are you still here? Bana Zulu, Bana Bilaka. It has gone very quiet in the chat. Are you still with me? Are we still live? I don't know. Yes, put an 1 in the chat if you're still here. Are you following along? And I will reveal, yes, this word that the rabbi mentioned, right? Let me see if I can, if we can re-listen to what he said.
Are everywhere to lead the house of Israel. Lamba people and our people who are south of Kush, from beyond the river of Kush. But it says, my suppliants
shall
bring offering to me in fair Bozai. Now, I want you to understand, because there is a mystery here. There are 2 nations that are being mentioned. Now, we don't know today what are those nations. One name in the Hebrew is the name Atari, and the other name Bat means the daughter. Putzi. What the word Putzi mean? It's come from the word futsot, my daughter who has been scattered. Friends, it says that there will be a daughter of Israel who is going to be scattered, and they will be one. And look at the word, next word. It doesn't say they will bring offering.
Attention.
The word is yovelun.
Yovelun.
That's where we get the word yovel. Jubilee. That is talking about what this group is going to be doing. They are going to lead the house of Israel to the Jubilee. 50. Jubilee is the number 50 for the coming
of the Messiah.
What are they going to do?
Man, I like this rabbi. I like this rabbi, man. I know he's a Kadi Hampemba. Sometimes they speak truth, sometimes they lie big time, right? So they speak with a double tongue. The tongue of nyoka. The tongue of a nyoka. Snake. So, but what he's saying is actually right. It's right. And so he says that the word which is used there, shall bring, is the Hebrew Yebulun. Yes, the Yiddish Yebulun, which gives us the word Jubilee in Yiddish. Okay, let's open it up. And Jubilun means also 50. Yeah, so you see, the root is Yabal.
Strong's H2986. Yaval.
Yes, they pronounce the B as a V. So Yabal can be Yaval, Yavel, whatever. That's the Yiddish pronunciation. Okay, to bring, to lead, carry, conduct, bear along, to come along, etc. Primitive root. The consonants are what? Y, B, L. Yes. Y, B, L will give us the Kikongo Yambula. Yambula. So this word over here is not Yabal, Yabal, the consonant YBL, right? Yud Bet Lamech. Those are the letters in Hebrew. Yud Bet Lamech, which gives you, in the Yiddish pronunciation, Yabal or Yaval. But those consonants gives us the Kikongo Yambula, which means to praise or offering, to bring, to carry an offering, to bring along something to praise someone with. Koyambula, these people, incredible. Yes. So we have done a breakdown of Zephaniah 3:10. Go to my YouTube page, look for it. I think it was a live teaching also, so go to the section live and you will find it over there. Watch it. It's very powerful. Very, very powerful. The breakdown word by word of Zephaniah 3 verse 10. Word by word. It's amazing. Okay. Bene Kongo, I'm Kefas. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. We are an hour in. I hope you understood the message. We, the Bene Kongo, the Bantu, the Israelites the Bible speaks of, we are also called Bene Kushi. Yes, Bene Kushi. We have lived our whole life as a people, okay? As a people, our ancestors have lived always in the land of Kam. Yes, the land of Kam and the land of Kama, which is the land of Ham. Ham, in Yiddish pronunciation, which is the land of Africa, the land of black man and woman, the land of Bantu, the land of God. Nzambi Mpungutulendo. Yes, Nzambi Mpungutulendo revealed himself in the land of Kam. That's why we are Kamites. We have always lived there. We have always been there. Abraham, the biblical figure, right? He came from the land of Kush. He married a woman of Kush. His children intermarried with people of Kush. And I'm not ashamed to call myself African. Why? Because my ancestors have always lived in Africa. I am from the continent of Africa, so I'm an African. Yes? But in our calling, and in our adoption, in our divine identity, we are Bana Zulu, the children of heaven. We are Bana Kongo, the children of truth and light. Yes, Katonda. Therefore, we are the same people who in the Bible are called Israelites. Okay? Now, I know that many people are teaching differently than how I teach and what has been revealed to me. But when you bring everything together, you will see that what we share here goes line in line. It's just something that you need to add. And when you add this information to what you already have, and you open your mind to be illuminated by Nzamba Pongotulendo, the Great Spirit Kongo, then you begin to see, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? The work of the Kadian Pemba has always been to divide and rule. Okay? And they used the same Bible, which they took They wrote their own versions of it because it's a translation which they wrote down. And they put doctrines of division into the thing, man, in the Bible. So we'll be reading the Bible and, calling people by all kinds of horrible names, our own brothers and sisters. Now, let's be clear. Not all people who live in Africa are Bantu. We know. Yes? Moses. Oh, wait. There's one video I forgot. I need to share this one too. Okay, before because we're closing. Let me look for it. Yeah. 1 sec. Give me a minute. Let me look for it. We need to watch this also. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Actually, everything we shared here is interesting, but we give me a minute. Oh man, I don't have the. Something's going wrong. It's. Let me try again. Okay. Let me try again.
On the on the history of your family.
Okay. Oh, goodness. No, it's not. Okay, we will try. Let's see if it works because I'm having some technical problems. Let's see. Yes, I think you can all see it. So this is from brother. What is his name? We woke now. Pastor. I forgot his name. Yes, but I saw an interesting video he did with this white scholar, and this white scholar said something very interesting. That I said, you know what? I have to record this. I have to make a screenshot of this one. So let's listen to what he has to say. Okay.
on the history of your family. So finding these high percentages is super exciting. And once again, the Levites were Egyptians. We know that because they had Egyptian name, Hofni and Pinchas, Moses. These are all Egyptian names. It is believed that they are the ones who brought the story of the Exodus from Egypt. And it is speculated they were member of the Chapil, which is a member class of workers that were in Egypt, that at some point rose to prominence because there was a revolution in Egypt, and all of a sudden those Chapil became kings. Okay, and they ruled Egypt for a short while. When they were overthrown, they may have escaped from the new pharaohs. At that time, they could have arrived to Israel and bring with them the knowledge and the story and experience that they acquired in Egypt, and they become the Levite. As you all know, they did not have a territory. The name Levite in Hebrew means joining, something that is adjoining you. They were not a core member. They're not mentioned in the Deborah song, which was one of the oldest pieces of the Bible. They're not mentioned there, probably because they did not exist back then. They joined later on. Okay? So it's a very fascinating group with very exciting history, and they're highly African.
So,
And they are highly African. Now that's interesting. So this white scholar, I forgot his name, had a beautiful dialogue with our brothers, and he said that the Levites were Egyptian. That the name of the Levite priest is Egyptian, Hofni, and what was that other? Hofni and Phineas, yes, Egyptian. Moses' name is Egyptian. Miriam is a feminine version of Mizraim, etc. So, what do we need to understand from this? The Israelites, the Bantu people on the continent, when you try to explain to them that they're Israelites, most of them, those who know the history, will refute it. They will say, no, you must be mistaken. We're not Israelites. Our ancestors came down from Kama. They came down from Egypt. And some will say, will literally say, we are Kemites. We are Kemites. People who came down from Egypt. And that corresponds with the Bible, you see. The only thing that they need to understand is that those Kemites, those Bantu people who came out of Egypt, when Israel, Yiseka'yah, was a child, where in Egypt he grew and became matured, where in Egypt he learned writing, philosophy, mathematics, astrology, architecture, where in Egypt, when he was matured and he grew up to a multitude of people, I called my son out of Egypt, Kama. So when our ancestors, our Bankulu, the elders who know the history, when they say we are Kemites, we came down from Kama, they are telling you the truth. That's not to say that they are Hamites, pagans. No. Even the historians, the Greek historians and the Romans, they said what? The Israelites, the ancient biblical Israelites, are a colony of the Kemites. We, according to the story of our ancestors, the traditional oral tradition, we were one people. Yes, we were one people. The Bantu people also ruled Kemet. And when we go with exact history, you all know the first dynasty was built by Nemes, who was also called Namer. Yes, Namer in Hebrew also means leopard. Yes, also means leopard. The Bantu people and the ancient Kemites have what? The leopard as their totem, which represents spiritual authority, authority of the kings and the priests. That same king, who is called Nemes, when you reverse the letters, you have no, sorry, when you take the same consonant, right, the S is silent, and so you have the consonant MN, which will also give you Muene. Muene is a title for kings. Yes, Muene is also a title for those who are anointed, those who represent the Most High and the holy ancestors on the earth, who is a mediator actually between the people and God. That's the king, as is the priest. The position of the king in Bantu culture is slightly different than the Western idea and concept of a king. Yes. So that word Muene is also seen in the title of the king of Motapa. Muene Motapa. Yes. Muene Kongo. Muene can also give us Mene, which is the title of Menes. Yes, Menes, who was the first king who established the first dynasty, Namer, who is called the leopard. And he also gives us Muana, which means literally child. So the king was the child of heaven and the child of the people. You understand? So we need to bring both narratives together and marry them. And once we marry them, we will begin to understand the complete picture. But as long as you live and die by the Bible solely, you will miss a lot of facts. Like I said, many people who live and die by the Bible, they operate in the realm of religion and faith. Because when you just have faith, when you base your understanding on faith, believing, you don't need to produce any proof. You can just believe without something being truth. You understand? But the spirituality of our ancestors is based on science. Bukongo, Bunzambi is based on science. It's a scientifical spirituality. Ingeta. Yeah, so I hope you understood what we discussed in this broadcast. I know we go very deep sometimes, and if you want to go deeper, join my Patreon page, because I have things that I share on Patreon which are not here on YouTube. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. 58% of you all are watching me but not subscribing. Subscribe, help the channel out, help me out, help me grow the channel and reach more people. Yeah, so to end Amos 9:7, we have now a broader understanding of Amos 9:7. Are you not Kibeni? Yes, as my children, as my sons of the Kushites, unto me, Bene Yisolele, Bene Yiseka'yah. Are you not unto me as my sons? Kibeni, right? Kibeni, as my sons of the Kushites. Ingeta, if you have question, you can email me at the email is there in the chat. If you want to join me with my organization, Angola Investment Group, we are building a diaspora community in Angola. Do you have an exit plan? The dollar will crash. It's already, we're already seeing the signs. As America goes, Europe will also go. So when everything goes to hell, do you have a plan of exit? Now, we are providing a plan. We are building a diaspora community so that you can prepare yourself a place in Angola with me. Yes, and when we practice collective economy, yes, we put our monies together, we can do a lot of things. Yes, the sky is the limit. So if you're interested in investing with me in Angola, in the diaspora community, send me an email at angolainvestmentgroup@gmail.com. And it's my pleasure to help you, assist you, and to build together. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence. Kembo na tatanzambi ya Manzulu. Beluka bena Kongo. Until we meet again, and may Congo reign. Ingeta.